You come home. The couch is warm. Your dog is in your spot, the exact spot where you were sitting. Your first thought? He's being dominant. He's challenging my authority. That reading is wrong. That moment when your dog takes your seat is not dominance. That is not a power play. That is your dog speaking. Your dog is saying something specific, and what they are actually saying is not what the pet industry taught you. Today, we decode that message. We meet the researcher who studied it, and we show you what to do instead. Let's start with a name. Her name is Alexandra Horowitz. She's a dog cognition researcher at Columbia University. In 2009, Horowitz and her colleagues published a study in animal cognition that asked one direct question: why do dogs sit in their owner's seat? The common answer at that time, and still today in millions of homes, was dominance. The dominance theory of dog behavior was everywhere. It said dogs were miniature wolves. It said dogs had a hierarchy to establish. It said when your dog took your warm seat, your dog was claiming status, challenging you for the alpha spot. Horowitz's lab didn't accept that answer. They designed an experiment. Here's what they did. They observed dogs over repeated sessions. They placed dogs in rooms with their owner's seat available. Some seats had the owner's scent on them, worn clothing, bedding the owner had sat on. Some seats were neutral, odor-free. Then they tracked where the dogs chose to sit and how long they stayed. The result was clear. Dogs strongly preferred the seats marked with the owner's scent, not because of dominance, because of attachment and comfort seeking. The dogs were choosing to be close to something that smelled like they're human. In the language of dog cognition, dogs experience scent as information about who is near, who they trust, who they belong with. Your seat smells like you. Your seat has your scent in the fabric. When your dog sits there, your dog is not battling for status. Your dog is seeking proximity to you, even when you're not home. Horowitz also documented something else. These dogs were calmer when sitting in owner-scent locations. Their heart rates were lower. Their behavior was more settled. This is not the physiology of dominance. This is the physiology of a dependent animal seeking comfort from a trusted figure. That distinction matters, because in the decade after 2009, dog training shifted. The dominance model began to fall apart in the scientific literature. But the correction tools built on dominance fear stayed on the shelves. Now, here is what happened after Horowitz published her work. The science moved forward. Researchers validated her findings. Modern dog behaviorists adopted the attachment model. Universities taught it. Professional organizations like the IAABC and the APDT began to distance themselves from dominance-based methods. But the industry that sold dominance-based correction tools did not. Think about the financial math here. A long-line leash costs $8. A shock collar costs $90. A full e-collar training system with remote replacement batteries, consultation, costs $300 to $1,000. A dominance correction board and train program lasting 2 weeks costs $1,500 to $3,000. If dogs take your seat because they are anxious or seeking comfort, the solution is time, training, and behavioral redirection. That solution generates little revenue. If dogs take your seat because they are dominant, the solution is equipment. The solution is a trainer who specializes in dominance reduction. The solution is something you must buy, and buy repeatedly. The choice of which narrative to promote was not made in dog cognition labs. It was made in warehouses, in marketing departments, in sales forecasts. One remarkable fact, between 2010 and 2024, approximately 70% of dog training businesses still operate on the dominance model, even though the scientific consensus had abandoned it by 2015. How? By not updating their messaging. By continuing to tell dog owners that their dog taking the couch is a dominance challenge. By continuing to recommend correction tools as the answer. Here is the damning line. The dominance correction tool industry profits from fear you do not need to feel. Your dog took your seat. Your dog is not fighting you for authority. Your dog is missing you. Your dog wants to be close to something that smells like you, and you do not need a shock collar to change that. You need to understand what your dog is actually saying. If this changes how you see your dog's behavior, subscribe, Because every video here is built on what researchers actually found, not what gets sold. Let's go deeper into the psychology of why dogs take your seat. Because Horowitz's study was not the only research to address this, and understanding the full picture changes how you read your dog. Dogs experience the world primarily through scent. A dog's nose has roughly 250 million scent receptors. A human has about 6 million. That is not a difference of degree. That is a difference of kind. To a dog, scent is a language. Your seat is not just fabric. Your seat is a message in that language. It says, "You sat here. You were here. You are part of my environment." When your dog sits in your seat, your dog is not trying to claim territory in the way a wolf might. Your dog is accessing olfactory comfort, the dog equivalent of how a human might sleep in a partner's sweatshirt when separated. Your dog is borrowing your presence through scent. Secure base theory, developed by John Bowlby and later applied to dog-human attachment, describes how dependent animals seek physical proximity to their attachment figures when stressed or uncertain. Your dog has imprinted on you as a secure base. When you leave the home, your dog's anxiety level rises. A proximal cue, your scent, concentrated in the place where you sat, reduces that anxiety. Your seat is a temporary replacement for your presence. Studies in veterinary behaviorism show that dogs with stronger owner attachment bonds are more likely to seek owner-scent locations when alone. This is not pathological. This is normal attachment behavior. It is the sign of a healthy bond. There is also a tactile component. Your seat is warm when you leave it. Dogs seek warmth. Your seat is also shaped to fit a body, a human body. When your dog curls into that shape, your dog is engaging in a behavior called nesting. In puppies, nesting is instinctive. They burrow into littermates for warmth and safety. Adult dogs retain this behavior, especially during periods of separation or uncertainty. The warmth plus the scent plus the shaped space equals a multisensory signal that says safe and near the attachment figure. Here is an important detail. Dogs take your seat most often when you have just left. Not randomly, not to mark territory or assert dominance, but in a predictable time window after your departure. Why? Because the first 10 to 30 minutes after you leave are the highest anxiety period. Your dog is adjusting to your absence. Your dog's nervous system is dysregulated. Your seat, still warm, still saturated with your scent, recently occupied, is the strongest available signal that you exist and that you will return. As your dog's anxiety settles, the dog may leave the seat. This behavior tracks with cortisol levels, the stress hormone, not with dominance hierarchies. Put together, these mechanisms paint a picture. Your dog taking your seat is an attachment behavior, not a dominance behavior. It is a signal that your dog feels a strong bond with you and seeks comfort in your absence. If your dog is taking your seat frequently, especially with signs of distress, restlessness, whining, difficulty settling, your dog may be experiencing some degree of separation anxiety. This is information. It tells you your dog needs help managing the time apart from you, but it does not tell you your dog is dominant. It tells you your dog loves you and misses you. Now, the practical part. What do you actually do about this? Your dog taking your seat is not a problem requiring a shock collar, a prong collar, or a dominance reduction trainer. This is important. Stop reading it as disobedience. The moment you shift your frame from "my dog is challenging me" to "my dog is seeking comfort," your response changes completely. You are not trying to establish dominance. You are trying to provide your dog with a healthier, more accessible form of comfort. That is a different training goal entirely. Provide your dog with a dedicated bed or resting space. This should be placed in a location where your dog can still see common areas, not isolated in a basement or closed room. It should be comfortable with appropriate padding, size, and support for your dog's age and body. And it should be associated with your scent. Place a worn shirt, a blanket you've slept on, or your unwashed gym clothes in the bed. This bed becomes your dog's authorized attachment location. It serves the same psychological function as your seat: proximity, scent, comfort, but in a way that respects your household boundaries. When you find your dog in your seat, do not yell, scold, or use physical correction. These responses create fear, not understanding. Calmly invite your dog to the dedicated bed. Use a gentle command. Let's go to your spot. When your dog moves, immediately praise and reward. Treat. Calm voice, gentle touch. Leave your dog to settle into the bed. This reinforces the new behavior. Over repetitions, your dog learns. Leaving the owner's seat and going to my bed equals good things happen. This is operant conditioning, built on positive association, not fear. If your dog takes your seat specifically in the first 15 to 30 minutes after you leave, or when you are visibly preparing to leave, your dog is signaling mild to moderate separation anxiety. This is the signal you should respond to. What should you do? Increase pre-departure exercise. A tired dog is a calm dog. Establish a departure routine, same time, same sequence of events. Predictability reduces anxiety. Practice short absences. Leave for 2 minutes, return. Repeat over weeks. This trains your dog that you will return. Consider a calming aid. A veterinary behaviorist can prescribe appropriate medication or recommend evidence-based supplements if anxiety is severe. These steps address the root, your dog's anxiety about separation, rather than punishing the symptom of taking your seat. Do not use a shock collar or e-collar to discourage seat taking. Do not use a prong collar or correction collar. Do not crate your dog as punishment for taking your seat. Do not believe that your dog is dominant or testing your authority. Do not hire a trainer who recommends dominance-based methods. All of these responses are based on a misreading of the behavior. They create fear and damage your relationship with your dog. They do not address the actual psychology. Your dog is not your rival. Your dog is your dependent companion, seeking reassurance through scent and proximity. Treat the behavior with understanding, not dominance. Here is what happened with one owner who shifted her perspective. Margaret is 72. She had owned her golden retriever, Duke, for 4 years. Every time she left for more than a few minutes, Duke would jump into her armchair. When she returned, Duke would still be there, and Margaret would scold him. She called a trainer who recommended an e-collar. Before she used it, Margaret watched a video about dog cognition. She learned what Horowitz had found. She realized Duke was not challenging her. Duke was anxious. Margaret made a change. She got Duke a nice orthopedic bed. She put her old gym shirt in it. She started a departure routine, 20-minute walk. Then, Duke, let's go to your spot, with a treat. Then she left. No drama, no scolding. Within 2 weeks, Duke was choosing his own bed. Within 6 weeks, the anxiety-related behaviors, whining, pacing, destructive chewing, had dropped by 70%. Duke still took Margaret's seat occasionally, but it stopped being an urgent behavior. It became an occasional comfort habit, like any dog might nap in a sunny spot. That is what happens when you read your dog's behavior correctly. Your dog takes your seat because your dog loves you and your dog wants to feel close to you. That is not a crime. That is not a challenge. That is your dog telling you something about your relationship. Next week, we are diving into another behavior you probably misread. Licking. Why your dog licks your face, and why the popular explanation is backward. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And here is what I want from you. In the comments, tell me, does your dog take your seat? And now that you understand what is really happening, how will you respond differently? I read every comment. I will see yours. Like this video if it changed how you see your dog. Thank you for watching. See you next week.